Good evening. Am I audible? Is my screen visible? Can you please confirm, dear participants? Good evening. Good evening. So we are in day 4 of this virtual internship on Python. So in the last 3 classes, in the previous classes, what all the topics we have covered? Do you guys remember? Can you remember that and type in chat box what all the topics we have seen in the past 3 days? So we have started with syntax and then moving into variables, then data types, and we have seen one half in the day 2 and then remaining we have seen in yesterday's class, right? We have completed about the data types, then moving into operators in Python, and then finally conditional statements, right? So do you guys remember what all the things? Okay, what is a collection of item inside square bracket? What is a collection of item inside parenthesis? What is a collection of item inside curly braces? Do you guys remember? So a collection of item inside square bracket will be a list, and collection of item inside parenthesis will be a tuple, and collection of item inside curly braces will be a set. And what are the difference you can tell? So list and set are mutable, but tuple is immutable, right? You cannot change it once you create it. But regarding a set, what is the unique property of is that is you can have only unique elements in there, right? So these are the things which will define their unique property, and based on your requirement you have to use that. And finally we have seen about operators and conditional statements. Today we are going to see about looping statements in Python. So we are going to cover 2 things. The first one will be for loop and the second one will be while loop. So I am having a little bit exercise here. So once we complete each topic we are going to see that how to use for loop and while loop with example. And when we see that, we will be using all the things which you have learned in the previous classes also, like all the operators, conditional statements will be incorporated here. So it will be really helpful, and we'll try to do that right today. Can we start the class? Can we start with for loop now? So starting with for loop. Okay, loop is like a repetitive thing, okay, keeps on going. That's what a loop is. So what is a for loop? So there are 2 types. First one is a for loop, next one will be a while loop. So these have unique properties. We'll see one by one. Starting with for loop. For loops in Python are used to iterate over a sequence. Okay, it is used for iteration. So what is a iteration? What is one iteration? We'll see that. Okay, it is done in a sequence. It may be a list or tuple or a string. Okay, and what you can do is iteration is like taking one. Okay, in a sequence we will be having a collection of items, right? So in every index we are having different element. So we will take one by one. Okay, for every iteration, the first iteration it will take one element, and in that what we are going to do, we are going to perform specific task there, and then going on taking the next element and perform the same task and keep on doing. Okay, this is what known as for loop. So even strings are also iterable objects, so you can iterate over a string or list or tuple. And how does a for loop run? So what is the property of a for loop? So the for loop, if you start that, it will take an element. Okay, it will do what is the body of if statement. It will check. Okay, it will perform that task, and it is going to check whether it is the last item in that sequence. So if it is not the last item, it is going to do iteration again, so that in the next iteration it will take the next item. So in that sense, it will keep on going till it reaches the last one. So when it reaches the last element, it will perform the task. Okay, and once it performs the task, it is going to check whether it is the last item, and if it is the last item, it is going to terminate. Okay, so that's what the property of a for loop is. And regarding assignments, you will be getting it on every 5 days. So today is day 4. Tomorrow I will be giving an assignment, the first assignment. Okay, and I'll tell you how to submit it, what all the process you have to do with that in tomorrow's session. Fine. Today we'll focus on for loop, and this is what an introduction of for loop is. Let's jump into how to use for loop. Okay, so I'm going to iterate over a list first, and you can also iterate over any sequence. Okay, so it's common, so we'll start with iterating over a list. First, in a variable fruits, I am storing a list apple, orange and banana. Okay, these three things I am storing in a list. And using for loop, how to create a for loop, you have to call this for. Okay, this is going to create a for loop, and near to that you have to give a new variable which you haven't used earlier. So this x will be a new variable. So from where you are going to iterate, okay, you are going to iterate in the sequence, you have to give that here. So I'm going to iterate over this fruits. Okay, so what is this x will do here? The x is a new variable. So for every iteration, it is going to take one element, right? So that element will be stored in this new variable x. And inside of it, you have to use colon, and in the next line, you have to leave this indentation. So it is important. It is similar to, the syntax is similar to a conditional statement. You have to use it here also. And we are printing x. So what will happen is, so this for loop will go into this fruits and take the first element apple. Okay, in the 0th index it is apple, right? So it is going to take this apple, and it is stored in the variable x, and it will print x now. This is the body of the for loop. I am just printing it, and once this body is completed, it is printed, right? So it is go and take the next iteration. Okay, so it will take x will take the orange now, it will print that. And again it is going to check whether orange is the last item. No, right? So it will go and take the banana, and it will print that. Once it printed banana, it will check whether it is the last item of that sequence. If it is the last item, it is going to terminate. So which means for every iteration, if you run this loop, you will be getting apple and then orange and then banana. Clear about for loop, how it works? Can we see it in Google Colab? Can we repeat this in Google Colab? I'll open my collaboratory file. You can try along with me also if you want. Let me create a variable. Fruits is equal to, here I'll store a list apple, orange, banana. Okay, so this is a list, and I'm going to iterate over it with the help of for loop. For. Okay, I'll start for. Now I have to give a new variable, right? I can create any variable. I'll just create x for now. Okay, x in, from where you are going to iterate. You are going to iterate over this list stored in this variable fruits. I'll call that, and inside this is the body of for loop. So I'll just print x. Okay, so if I run this, see here we got the output. Apple first printed, then orange, and then banana. Okay, this is what the for loop is. If you want to see it clearly, then what I can do is I can print something else here. So this is in the same indentation line. So this will comes under the body of for loop. So once this line is also executed, then only it is going to take the next iteration. I'll just print dashed line like this, so that you can understand what happening here. See here, first it is x will be apple in the first iteration. It will print apple, and then it will print this dotted line. So this for loop, this iteration is over now. So the x will take next one orange. So it is printing orange and printing this dotted line, and then it is taking banana. Okay, it is printing banana and printing this dotted line. Clear? Okay. So next one. For x in banana, we are going to iterate over a string now. So what will be the result? Please, like, if you understand this concept, you can type it in chat box. You don't need any ID. What will be the output if I run this loop? Anyone? How the output will be? So the first iteration, the value of x will be b, okay, since it is a string, okay, the first 0th index will be b, and then the first index will be a. So in that sense, it will keep on running. So it will print 1 by 1. The first time it will be b, then a, then so on, okay, it will print below that 1 by 1. Okay, we will try to do it. Please understand this concept very well. For y in, I am passing a string banana, so I can store it in a variable and directly pass that, or I can directly type it here. Okay, no issue, and I'll print y. If I run this, yes, correct, very good guys. So we got this output. This is the same way you will be getting. First it will print b and then so on. So if you want to check it, you can print anything else like this dotted line, so that you can clear. Okay, so for every iteration what is happening, and when you try to use this for loop, please remember, for every iteration the value will be stored in y. Okay, value will be stored in y. So what happens is you have to print the y only, so that you can get the every iterated word. If you forgot and print, for example, see here in this example, I'll tell you, if you accidentally, instead of printing x, accidentally if you give it like print fruits, you will be getting fruits 3 times. Why we got this? So the first iteration, the value of x will be apple, okay, and it is printing fruits, so it is obviously print this list, okay, and the next time x will be orange, so it will print fruits again banana, it will print that. So in case you may accidentally give this, so please make sure, if you want this kind of result, you can go there, or instead you can pass this x directly, so that for every iteration that iterated value will be printed. Is it clear? Can we move on and see the next topic in for loop? Let's understand about break statement. Okay, there is a statement which is known as break, which is an option. We will see how to use it. So I'll tell you an example. So when is a for loop will end? When will a for loop end? Tell me in chat box. When will a for loop terminate? So a for loop will terminate when it reaches the last element, right? So instead, for example, if I need to terminate the loop when it reaches some element in between, okay, I'm having something like apple, banana and orange. I don't want the loop to run till orange, okay. When it reaches banana, I have to terminate it, okay. I have to terminate it when it reaches banana. So for that, what I can do is, I can stop this loop when it reaches certain condition. So for that, I can use conditional statement and check whether banana is reached. And if it is reached, I can use this break statement. Okay, so I'll explain you one by one what is happening here. The first iteration, the value of x will be apple. Okay, when it is apple, it is going to print apple. We will be getting the output apple, and then in the same indentation line, I am creating conditional statement. I am checking whether this x is equal to banana. Now the first iteration, the value of x will be apple. So apple is not equal to banana, so this conditional statement will become false. So this break won't be executed. It will go into the next iteration where the value of x will be banana, and in that time it will print banana, and it will check whether banana is equal to banana. Yes, it is. Okay, so it will go into the body of conditional statement where I am using break. So what this break will do is, it will terminate the loop in that situation. Okay, it won't allow the loop to run further. So when you reach this break, it is going to cut off the for loop. We'll try to use it. Okay, let me create some other lengthy, okay, number. I'll create with numbers 9. If I use for loop here for x in number, print x, it is going to give me everything from 1 to 9. It is going to print that. So instead, if I reach 5, okay, I need to terminate this for loop. So what I can do, in the same indentation line, I can call a conditional statement if x is equal to 5. So when it reaches 5, the first time x will print, okay, x will be printed, which means 5 will be printed. I want till 5. So what I'm going to do is, once it reaches 5, I'm going to break the statement. So remaining things won't be executed, the iteration will be stopped in that situation. So if I run this, see here the output. See here, when it reaches 5, it will print that and it will check whether 5 is equal to 5. Yes, so I'm going to break the statement. Clear? Clear about why we are using break statement, how to use it? And similarly, instead of break statement, we are having something known as continue statement. So what is this continue statement is? Imagine, okay, you want to skip something, okay, you want to run the loop entirely, but when it reaches certain situation, you want to skip that alone. For example, I'm having a list named apple or banana and orange, okay, these three things. When it reaches banana, I don't want this banana to be printed, okay, and remaining things I need. So how I'm going to do? So in this situation, what I'm going to do is, I'll be using for loop. So the first time the value of x will be apple. So before printing it, okay, before going into the print statement, I am using conditional statement. So first it will check the condition. If x is equal to banana, apple is not equal to banana, right? So won't be going into this continue statement. It will come below. This statement failed, so it will come to the next line, where in this indentation line I am printing x. So it will print apple. So here we are checking it. Since we are going to skip that element, we are first checking and then we are printing. But in this previous example, we are printing and then we are checking. So based on your requirement, you have to do this properly. Okay. And the next time the value of x will be banana, and now banana is equal to banana. So it will go into the body of if. So in that I am using something known as continue. So what is this continue is? The continue statement, what it will do is, it will make the loop to go to the next iteration. So once it reaches the continue, it will make the for loop to go for the next iteration, which means the code below this line won't be executed. Okay. Once it reaches continue, it is going to ask the loop to take for next iteration. So now it won't be printed, the banana will be skipped, and then the value of x will be orange, and then this statement will be failed, and then orange will be printed. So we'll be getting apple and orange in the end, but skipping the banana. Clear? We'll try to do it with this numbers example itself. I'll copy these things. Okay, I'll copy this list alone. For example, here I want to skip only the element 5. Okay, other things, only I don't want this 5. Other things I should have it in my output. So what I'm going to do is, I'll use a for loop for x in number. Before printing it, I'm going to check if x is equal to 5. If x is equal to 5, I'm going to continue it, which means when it reaches this, it is going to ask the loop to take the next iteration. It will take the value of x as 6. And here, okay, here I'll print x. So if this statement failed, it is obviously going to come below, where it will print the next one. So if I run this, I shouldn't be getting 5. Okay, 5 should be skipped and the remaining thing should be present in my output. See here, I got 1, 2, 3, 4, then 5 got skipped, and then the remaining things is in my output. Is it clear regarding break statement and continue statement? Do you guys have any doubt? Is it clear? So next we are going to see one thing which will be very important when you are going for like practice examples using this for loop or conditional statement. There are certain tasks you can do with this, the help of this. This is very useful. We'll see about range. Okay, so what is this range is? range is something like if you give 10, okay, so that you can give three things, okay. So the by default you should mention only one value, but you can give three value. I'll explain one by one. So if I enter 10 here, it will start from 0 till 9, it will print, okay. Range is something like if you mention a number one step before, it will come. So what this range will do is it will start from 0, okay, and end till 9. So number I mentioned one step before, it will come. So the default starting index is 0. The default starting number is 0, and the ending number which you mentioned one step before, it will come. So the first time the value of x will be 0 because it is a default value. Next time it will be 1. Next it will be 2. Next 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 10 till it reaches 9, it will run and then it will terminate. Okay. So instead of giving 0, you can actually, like, this is the default value, right? Starting number. If you want actually from some number to some number, you can give that. So if you mention two numbers, then it will take the first one as a starting number. Second one will be the ending number. So when you start from 5, it will start from 5. It will print 5, then 6, 7, then it will go on. And if you mention 20 here, it is going to take till 19. You will be getting an output till 19. Okay. No 6, 19, it is 5, 19. It will start from the number you mentioned. But the ending one will be one step before. It is like similar to slicing. In slicing we have done that, right? It will do, the ending will be one step before. And what is this three things? Okay, you are having an option to give three arguments. So what is this is? First one will be the starting number. So if it is 2, it will start from 2. The next one, if I mention 20, it is the ending number, so it will come till 19. So what is this third one? The third value is step. So what is the step is, right? If I mention 2 here in the step, it is going to print 2 and then it will skip 3, then it will print 4, then it will skip 5 and it will print 6. Okay, in that increment value it will keep on going. So if I mention 3 here, it is going to skip 2 values and print the third one, then skip 2 values, print the third one, and so on. So you'll see these three examples now in Colab. For x in range, okay, if I can mention three things, but I'll mention only one, which will be the ending number. If I mention 11 here, it is going to give me till 10. I'll print x. See here, it is default. By default it will start from 0, then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. If I mention 11, it is going to come till 10. If I mention 12, it will be till 11. See here, we got till 11, right? So instead of starting from 0, you can actually give the number which you want to start. So for y in range, I'll start from 5 and end till 10. So I have to mention 11 here. I'll print y. So what will happen now? It is starting from 5, the number I have mentioned, and the ending number is 11. So it will print till 10. So we got that output. Okay. Next one will be mentioning the step for z in range. I'll start from 1 and end till 20 in 2 steps. I'll print z. See here, we got 1. So it's starting from 1 and then it will skip that second one, then 3, then 5, 7, one step it will skip that. That's what 2 is. If I mention 3 here, it is going to skip 2 and print the third one. So it will print 1, then skip 2 and 3, printing 4, and so on. Is it clear? Is it clear about range function? Any doubts? Okay. Next we are going to see about nested for loop. So regarding like nested for loop, we have seen about nested conditional statement, right, in previous class, and this will be nested for loop, which is nothing but a for loop inside a for loop. And you have to remember the condition. When will a for loop end? Only when it reaches the last item it will end. Till that it will keep on going. Okay, so I'll tell you how to use this with an example like this. Okay, I'm having an adjective red, big and tasty, and I'm having a variable fruits, and where I have stored a list apple, banana and cherry. Okay, these three things. So first I am creating a for loop for x in adjective. So what will be the value of x in the first iteration? Tell me in chat box. What will be the value of x in the first iteration? So once it reaches this first iteration, the value of x will be red. Okay, it is an adjective, it is red, and it will go into the body of for loop where I have created another for loop and where I am using for y in fruits. So what will be the value of y in the first iteration? What will be the value of y in the first iteration? It will be apple. So inside that body of this second for loop, I am printing x comma y, which is something like the value of x will be red and the value of y now is apple. It will print red apple. Okay. Next, you have to remember this point here. When will a for loop end? A for loop will only end when it reaches the last item. So now the body, it is inside this for loop. The value of y is apple now. So for this for loop to end, you have to terminate when it reaches the end. So the value of y now will be banana. The value of x will be red only. So it will be red banana, the output. Next, what will happen? This for loop will take this cherry. So the value of x will be red only. It will print red cherry. Only when this for loop ends, when it reaches this cherry, it is going to take the next iteration for x. The value of x will be big now. It will come into this for loop again. So it will take y again from the start apple. So big apple, then big banana, then big cherry. Only when this loop ends, it is going to take the last value of x is tasty. So it will start from tasty apple, tasty banana and tasty cherry. Clear about how a for loop, nested for loop works? Can we try it in collab? Now I am going to use a for loop first for x in adjective. So value of x will be red now. So in that case I am using another for loop. You can just print that for your clarification. Print x. Okay, I'll print x and I'll print some line. Okay, dashed line for your understanding. And next I am creating another for loop. It is in the same intent line. So this loop, okay, this will be in the body of for loop for y in fruits. I'll print x comma y. Okay, before that I'll print y so that it can be confirmed and print some dashed line. If I run this loop, so first the value of x is red. Okay, so it is printing this dotted line and going into this for loop where it will print y, print the dotted line and print x comma y. So the value of x is like y is apple, printed the dotted line, then red apple, then banana, red banana, and it will keep on going. So to avoid, I'll remove this. So if you use like this, the output will be like this. Okay, the value of x will be constant. When this for loop ends, then only the value of x will be changed. Okay, red apple, red banana, red cherry, big apple, big banana, big cherry, then tasty apple, tasty banana, tasty cherry. Clear? So can we do this exercise now with for loop? Can we start? So the first exercise will be creating a Python program to print the sum of all elements in an array. So we are going to ask the user input, okay, we'll be asking the user to enter the number, okay, so he will be entering the number and it will be stored in a list. And once you get that list, what you are going to do is you are going to add all the numbers and what is the output you will be giving that. That will be the exercise of this first one, Python program to print the sum of all elements in an array. We can start now. So let me create a dummy list now. My list equal to empty list. So let it be empty. So here I'll be storing the user inputs. Okay. So for example, if I need 5 numbers, I'll get 5 numbers from the user and 5 numbers will be stored in the list and whatever the number he is entering, all the numbers will be added and the output will be given. So let's use this empty list. Since I need 5 numbers, I'm going to use for loop with range. For x in range, okay, in range 5. So it will start from 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, we got 5 numbers. So x is equal to integer input enter. Let me give a new variable, for example y, let x be there. So we are not going to use x anywhere, but we are just using it to run. So this will run 5 times, right? So if I enter 5, it will start from 0. So it will be 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So the total count is 5. So 5 times it will ask the user input. So every time user is entering the number, I'm going to append it. So what is append? I'm calling the list to append. It will add in the end. Okay. The user entering value will be added here. So I'll just print in the end my list. So that first we'll do this, so that you can understand what is happening here. So this list is empty. I'm using for loop 5 times. The 5 times this loop will run and ask the user input. So first time I'm entering 3 integer input. So second time, third time, fourth time, fifth time. So 5 times it ran and it is finally printing my list. I'm giving it outside for loop. When this for loop runs, it is printing this list. Okay, the value I have entered is now in a list. Now what I need to do is, once I got this list, I have to sum this all. Okay, so I have to add this all. I'm going to use another for loop. I'll create a sum equal to 0. So at first let the sum be 0. Okay, this will be the total output. First let it be 0. I'll create a for loop for z in my list. So in this list it is going to run one by one. So what I'm going to do is, every time the loop runs, I'm going to add this. Can you understand what this line is? Sum plus is equal to z means, what is that thing? We have seen, right? X plus is equal to 1. What is that? X equal to x plus 1. Similarly, sum plus is equal to z means sum is equal to sum plus z. So sum will be 0 first. Z value will be first time 3. So 0 plus 3 will be 3 and it is stored in sum. So next iteration, the value of z will be 4. The value of sum is 3, right, already. So 3 plus 4 equal to 7 will be stored in sum. And it will keep on going. And finally, I'll print z. So if I run this, it is going to ask me 5 times. And if I enter that number, all these numbers will be get added and an output will be given. See here. So we have to print the sum. We have to print the sum. Then only we will be getting the sum answer. Okay, total count is 22. Clear how this is happening? Okay, you can change the number range. So whatever the user is giving, okay, how much number you want, you can get, and you can add all these numbers in a list and give you the output using this for loop. Clear? We'll try to see this example, recreate this using for loop in Python. How can we do that? We need this output. How can we do that? First one, we'll start with this one. Let me create input from the user, enter. Okay, if he enter 5, okay, let us try to do this. If he enter 5 number, so I need from 1, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If he enter 6, then I have to end with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So how to do this? We'll try. So I'm going to ask the user, he will be entering the number. So based on that number, let me create a dummy list, my list equal to an empty list. I'll create a for loop for x in range. So range, I'm starting from 1. Okay, I'm not going to start from 0. I'll start from 1 and it will be n plus 1. So the ending number will be n plus 1. So the number he is entering, if he enter 5, it will be till 6, so that you can get till 5, right? Since the ending index, it will go one step behind, right? So what I'm doing is I'm adding with 1, so that if he enter 5, it will print till 5. So here it will go one step before and I'm adding it with 1, so it will be clear. and once it reaches here, I'm calling my list, and in that I'm append string of x. So the x will be a numerical value, but you cannot append it. Okay, you cannot do one task here. What I'll do is I'll print dot join my list. Okay, I'll explain you once we run this loop. See here, if I enter 5, see here we got 1, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So what is happening here? So we are having a list. Okay, so this list will be in the list format. If you want to combine all the elements present in a list, you can call this dot join. Since I am leaving it empty here, if you enter some other value, it will be added in between. Okay, I am leaving it empty so that all the things present in a list will be joined without anything present in between. So the list will be having 1, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3 and so on. So I am printing by joining it. And I have to convert it into a string because this is a string operation. This is a string method. This dot join is a string method. So we are converting that integer into a string using str. And this is happening. So if I enter 7 here, so it should give me like this output. Okay, 1, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3 and so on. Clear? So the next one, we'll start with while loop. Can we go? So we will start with a while loop. So what is the property of a while loop is? So in a for loop will end only when it reaches the last element. But while loop, okay, what is the condition of while loop is? While loop we can execute a set of statement as long as the condition is true, which means we will be giving a test condition. Okay, if that test condition is true, then it is will be keep on running the iteration. Once the condition is false, then only it will terminate. Okay, the while loop will run when the condition is true. When the condition is false, then only it will terminate, which means if it is true, it will keep on going. So how to create a while loop? See here, you have to call this while, and near to that you have to give the condition. So based on that condition, if it is true, it will keep on going. If it is false, it will terminate. I'll show you. If it is while true, okay, it will keep on going. I'll print 0. See here, if I run this, it is going to give me a lot of zeros. It will keep on going. See here, since it is true, I am setting it permanently to true, so it will keep on going. So you should avoid this. You have to set at some place it should be false. Otherwise, you will be getting error. Okay, so you have to terminate it manually. So I'll terminate this, and you have to set some condition so it can become false. So see here, I'm setting x equal to 1. First the value of x is 1, and I'm printing this while loop when x is less than 10. So while x is less than 10, we are printing the x. So when this loop runs, it will print x. And then what I'm doing is I'm adding x with 1. X plus is equal to 1 means x equal to x plus 1. So the value of every time the loop runs, the value of x will be gets added with 1. So the loop will keep on running. When it reaches 9, it will run. When it reaches 10, it is no longer less than 10. So this condition will become false. So in that place, it will print x. Okay. So this loop will keep on running when this condition is true. When it becomes false, it will terminate. And we'll be running it when it reaches, like we'll be setting it at some place, we have to set it false. So I'll create this x equal to 1. Okay, while x is less than 10, I'll print x. So if I run like this means I'll be still getting error because we are not adding the x again. So it will be keep on 1, so it will be always less than 10, it will keep on printing. But what you can do is you can add with 1, so that every time the loop runs, it will be gets added with 1. See here, the value of x is keep on going. When it reaches 9, it is no longer less than 10. Okay, when it reaches 10, okay, the last time the loop runs, the value will be 9. It will printed and it will be added with 1, so that now the value of x is 10. It is no longer less than 10. So we got this output. It is terminated at this point. Okay. So here also you can use the break statement. So what is a break statement? So once you want to terminate a loop in between, you can use this break statement, right? So you can do this also. Instead of like, see here, I am printing x when it less than 6, but when it reaches 3 I am break means when it reaches break, this while loop will be breaked and it will terminate. So that's what this while loop break is. So what I can do is, see here, before adding it with 1, I am going to terminate it in between if x is equal to 4. So when it reaches 4, I will break the statement. So if I run this, see here, it reaches 4, but the loop is still pending, but it will break the statement and come out of it. Okay, so that's what this break statement in while loop is. Similarly, regarding continue statement. So what is this continue statement? For what we have used in for loop, we have used to skip some element, right? So when it reaches this continue, it will take and go for the next iteration. So here what I am going to do is, instead of printing it, before I will be checking whether the value of x is correct or not. Okay, so I am storing the x equal to 0, and then I am adding it with 1 when the loop runs. The first time the value of x will 1, and I am checking whether it is 3. If it is not 3, it is going to go into the print statement, and when it reaches 3, okay, I am going to continue it, so it won't be printed and go to the next iteration. Okay, we will try to repeat this. X equal to 0 while x is less than 10. For example, I will keep that to 10. X plus is equal to 1. Every time the loop starting, the value of x will be added with 1, and I am checking whether x is equal to 3. If it reaches 3, I am going to continue it, so it won't be printed, and then below that I am going to print the value of x. And if I run this, see here, the value 3 alone got skipped and the remaining thing is printed. So that's what the use of this continue statement is. Finally, we are going to see something known as else statement. So we have seen in conditional statement, right? If that condition got succeed, then it is going to it won't go into the else statement. When it failed, it will go into the else statement. Similarly, in while loop, what will happen is, when it reaches the end, okay, when the while loop is terminated, it will go into this else statement and print the statement output. So I can have a else here below this. In the same intent line of while, you can have a else print loop ended. If I run this, in the end I will be getting this output. Okay, loop ended. Clear? So we have an assignment for this while loop also. So before seeing this, I have forgot to explain you this example, right? Sorry, and we will try to repeat this. Okay, I'll tell you about this example also once again, and we will try to repeat this one, and then we will do the while loop examples. Okay, with that we will try to wind up today's session. Can we do it? First, I'll explain you once again about this one. See here, I am asking for the user's input. So if he entered number 5, so I need something like, if he is entering 7, then I need something like this. Okay, so how can I do that? I am creating a empty list. Okay, and I am using for loop. For x in range, it will start from 1. Okay, the value of x will be 1 in the first, because I need to start from 1. Okay, and it will end till n plus 1. So what the value of n is? The user entered value. If he entered 7, if I place this n here, it will be 7 here. So what will happen? The range is, the ending step is one step before, right? So we need till the end. So what I am going to do? I am going to add it with 1. So when it is 1 n plus 1. So if he enters 7, it will be 8 here. So the ending, it will be one step before. So we will get from 1 till 7. Okay, the first time the loop runs, the value of value will be 1, right? So I am going to add it, okay, in my list. So I will print this list here, so that you can see what is happening. If I run this, if I enter 5 here, see here, first it will print my list. First time it is appending 1, because the first time it is 1, so I am converting it to a string, so it is in the string format. So the value is 1. So what I am doing, I am just joining all the elements present in a list, because it is a string, I can join with this string option, and I'm not giving anything here, so it will join as such. So the next iteration, the value will be 2, but already 1 is present in my list. So with that, 2 will be there. So now if I join these things, I'll be getting 1, 2 like this. And next time the iteration runs, the 3 gets added to my list, and if I join my list, I'll be getting this output. Next time it will be 4 added and then 5 added. So once when I reach this is we are using string operation. We are converting this x into a string because x is an integer, and this join operation is belonging to a string. If I remove the string, I'll be getting error. See here, sequence side, you cannot expect a string instance. You cannot do that. Only like integer is found, only string can be done. So that I'm converting this x into a string format. We just need that output, right? Okay. So if I remove this, I'll be getting this output. Clear about this? So the next one about that Python statement we have here, right? So we can do it pretty simple also, but I don't want to confuse at this state. Okay, in this moment we are seeing the basic Pythons only, so we cannot go that much complex. It won't be understandable. Okay, you can go step by step. You can rephrase, you can do some other options also to get this output. Okay, and how can you do this? We'll try to do it. I'll create a new box. I'll create string is equal to Python. So this is what we are going to have in the output. Okay, so first I'll have a variable x is equal to 0. So I'm using a for loop for I in string. So the value of I will be, first time it will be p, then y, and so on. Okay, so I'll add x is equal to x plus 1, which means x plus is equal to 1. So every time the value of x will be added, so I'll print in my string. Okay, I'll using slicing. It should start from 0. I can mention 0 or leave it empty until x. First time the value of x will be 1. Okay, it is starting from 0 and ending till 1, which means one step before it will print only 0th index, which is p. And next time the loop runs, the value of x will be added with 1, so it will be 2. So it is 0 is to 2, which means it will start from 0 and end till 1, which means it will get py, and then it will keep on going. So the output will be like this. So finally, when it reaches this, we have to do another step, which is going in the reverse way, right? So for that, what I'm going to do is, I'll create another for loop below this for j in string. So here what I'm going to do, the value of x will be now, what will be the value of x? I'll print that okay, the value of x is 6 now, so I'll go in that reverse sense. I'll be minusing, okay, subtracting it with 1. X minus is equal to 1. Print the string from 0 till the value of x. So it will go in the reverse order. So if I remove this print x, it will be clear. We will be getting the desired output. Okay, it will go in the reverse order. So it will be subtracting, like coming one step below. So the slicing will do this operation. Okay. So next we'll see about while loop statements. What are the exercise we are having in while loop? So we are having very little much time. We'll try to complete it. First we'll start with this guess the secret number game. Can we start? So here I'm going to store a secret number and I'm going to ask the user to enter that number. So I'll be also, in the meantime, I'll be giving only few chances. So for example, 3 chances. So when it, like, he has to find it in the 3 chance. Otherwise, I'll be terminating. Okay, I'll be making him quit the game. So I'll start with, let me store a secret number, secret equal to, let me store it as 5. Okay, this is a 5 is a secret number. So what I'm going to do is, I'll set a chance equal to 3. The total chance is 3. Here we are going to use while loop. So what this while loop is, we know, right, when it is true, it will keep on running. So I'll set while chance is greater than 0, which means when the chance is there, he will be running. When it reaches 0, the loop will terminate. Here I'm going to ask the user to guess. Okay, guess equal to integer input, guess the number. So he will be entering some number, right? Now here I'll add the chance. I have to subtract it, right? So chance minus equal to 1, which means when the loop is running, okay, every time I'm going to subtract it with 1. Here I'm going to use conditional statement. If guess is equal to secret, if he guessed correctly, I'm going to print you won. But if I leave it like this, means what it will do is, okay, it will, if you guessed correctly, then also it will keep on running till this chance is greater than 0. So here if you win, I'm going to break it because I don't want to run it further. Else what I'm going to do is I'll print, okay, using formatted statement, I'll print wrong guess, number of chances left is equal to, using parenthesis, using curly braces, I'm creating placeholder. I'll pass the chance here. So the chance will be subtracted with 1. So it will tell the chance. Okay. So finally, for this while loop, what I'm doing is, in this while loop, I'm creating a else statement. We seen, right? So once it reaches end, okay, it is going to print this, print game over. If I run this, so it is asking for me to guess the number. I'll enter some wrong number here. See here, wrong guess, the number of chances left equal to 2. Wrong guess, number of chance left equal to 1. So this is the last chance. Okay, I'll entering the wrong number. So it is telling chance got over. So game is over. Okay, and then I'll do this again. This is while loop running. So if I'll enter some wrong number again. So now I'm going to enter a correct number. Okay, let me enter 5. So this is the secret number and it will be checked, and if it is correct, it is going to tell me you won and it is breaking. Okay, if you leave this, if you don't give this break statement, it will keep on running. Clear? Is it clear till now? So regarding our assignments and how to submit it, I'll explain you in tomorrow's class, because tomorrow will be assignment day. We'll be seeing some topics, and in the end I'll give you an assignment, and I'll tell you the process how to submit it. Okay, so no worries, please try to remember this for loop and while loop. And since it is time, what we'll do is we'll try to use this car game in tomorrow's session. So please make sure you'll be getting this PPT, right? So please work out all these examples, and in tomorrow's class we'll start with this car game, and then we'll be moving on into next thing. Tomorrow we'll be seeing about dictionary, okay, elaborately. We have skipped that, right? I told you I'll be taking it in some other class. So in tomorrow's class we'll be seeing about dictionary. And also assignment I'll give you in tomorrow's class. Tomorrow is the 5th day. So for every 5 days you will be getting assignment, which means in the 20 days you will be having 4 assignments, which is mandatory. You have to submit it, and I'll explain you the process of how to do that. Okay, clear? So that's it. Thank you guys. So in tomorrow's class we'll try to do this car game. I'll explain you what it is. So please make sure you are thorough with for loop and while loop and conditional statements, what all topics we have seen till today's class. So thank you all. See you tomorrow.